Hello, welcome back to this Low-K Habitas channel, and this time we are going to talk about one of the most important decisions that are made throughout life, and that is what to study and how much it costs to study. Join me again to answer that question. To begin with, we must recognize that it is a difficult decision because it involves two very important aspects: where to study and at what price to study. One of the aspects that obviously weighs the most in this decision are the costs, or what we call tuition prices. Deciding whether or how much it is worth studying is something we are going to address in this episode. We are going to make an example of a program, for example, that a person who studied architecture, civil engineering, environmental engineering, some career related to the built environment is thinking about doing. And for everyone, it is really a truth, or something worrying that nowadays studying is something expensive. And it hits the pockets hard of the people who do it. Let's do the example of a graduate program and a master's degree, for example, which lasts 4 semesters of 40 credits and has an approximate cost of $15,000, which translates, for example, into 60 million pesos in Colombian pesos. One of the questions that may attract the most attention in this decision is how tuition prices are calculated, how universities or educational institutions in general determine how much it is worth, that is, how much to charge students. In economics, the scheme on how prices are defined between supply and demand is well known. For example, the number of people interested in a product in this case. A postgraduate academic program, since costs may increase or decrease if it is sold from different points. The formula that determines a price and quantity of a service. It is a game between demand and supply, and the point where these two lines intersect is the price that we consider in equilibrium. That is, the price seen from demand is equal to the price seen from supply. For prices that are rising, companies, seen from the supply side, will have an incentive to produce more of that service. But on the other hand, on the demand side, as the price increases, the quantity demanded will be less. The same situation will happen if we replace supply with universities and demand with students. To the extent that an academic program has many people interested, universities will theoretically have an incentive to increase prices. While at the time when there is a small number of students, the universities are going to try to reduce the price of the program. Viewed from the student side, a program that offers low prices will have many interested students, while a program with a higher cost will have fewer students interested in it. But the matter is more complex than this, and we will see. And something strange is happening here. Normally we know that the greater the number of people interested, the price increases. But in universities, there is usually a kind of standard price for programs, and there is no clear differentiation between what is charged, for example, for programs that use face-to-face classes, online classes, use laboratories and workshops compared to programs that simply teach classes in classrooms. And they do not have the other components. It seems that what each program costs us is the same. And that's going to be very strange. Let's analyze this issue a little. We are going to make a small example of how the money we pay is invested, or how the money we pay would be invested. Here is going to be a small example that he is going to give us. A clue about every dollar, every peso we pay for our education, how it is distributed within the costs generated by a program. Let's take a look. A simple way to analyze the topic is basically through a graph like this one. Suppose there are 20 students on the first day of class. Each of us will pay $15,000 for a total of $300,000 for the group of students. Seen from the supply side, that is, from the university side, these would be the income received on a net basis. And well, very well, what would each component that we pay for our education look like? We'll see. It is very curious to put the magnifying glass on the situation of distribution of expenses within something that we all know, which is a class. Let's do the example. For example, of one of them that has 3 credits is seen once a week, and for 4 months, which is the standard duration of a semester. Each student for that subject would be paying $1,125 multiplied by the 20 students who take a class. It would be an income of $22,500. To put our eyes on an important issue, for example, let's analyze how much of that money is going to be used to pay the teacher who is going to teach the class. Let's make an example that is not very out of date with reality. A teacher who can charge $50 an hour would have an income of $2,400 for the entire semester, which is equivalent to approximately 2 students pay for the subject. That is, there would be 18 students and their payments. To consume them in the rest, that is, in the payroll of employees who have the university, the cost of maintaining an infrastructure or a campus. Administrative costs, taxes, credits, consumables. This includes, for example, the gym, all cultural activities, the library, that are there for us to enjoy as students. In this new era, where artificial intelligence is going to play an increasingly active role in education, this spending model, for example, it is striking how it could, for example, be made more efficient. Make the relationship between teachers and students more fluid. And why not think about drastically reducing university tuition costs to have more access for the general public? And a participatory form where we can all play an important role in the training and development, for example, of such important projects in everything that has to do with what we live in. After having gone through 3 private universities, I can tell you personally that it is very worth studying, but at the moment there is a very strong discussion about the changes that it can bring, for example, what has to do with artificial intelligence. It will surely be the best decision to study at any time, but now new alternatives are opening up. Let's meet again for a new opportunity to continue discussing this and more topics. Until next time.